good afternoon. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the notification bell. And today, we got ourselves a quality check with Tesla's best-selling vehicle, the Model Y. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right. So we got ourselves a quality check with Tesla's new best-selling vehicle, the Model Y. And these Model Ys are brand new, just been dropped off. So let's do ourselves a quality check. And a quality check is going to be going throughout the panels, and at the end, we're either going to give it a pass or a fail. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, so we got this blue Model Y right here, and it has the upgraded wheels. Now the blue Model Y is a beautiful spec, and this happens to be the blue Model Y with the black interior, a very safe combination. So let's first off start off by looking at the left side, and what we want to make sure is that the fender color matches the bumper color, and the bumper color matches the hood, and that there's no scratches, marks, or any issues with this particular Model Y. So taking a look at the left side, so far we're off to a good start. Then looking at the trunk gap, well, the front gap, and making sure that everything is in place. So the front seems to be what we want to see. So let's continue on to the right side. Now onto the driver's side wheels. Now let's take a look. And these are recently dropped off Fremont factory vehicles. Taking a look at the driver's side gap, it's nice and tight, and that's what we want to see. Here's a look at the interior. See, it's all packaged up, ready to go. And remember, after you've done a quality check with the exterior, that's when you want to move into the interior. You want to check the steering wheel. You want to check the seats. You want to check your center console. You want to check your software to make sure it's operational, it doesn't freeze. You want to check your glove box. After that, you move on to the back seats. Do the same thing. Check that the seats fold down properly. Then after that, move to your trunk space and make sure that everything is in there. All right, so let's check these door handles to see if it's flush. And it is flush. One easy way to tell if the door is flush is by rubbing one finger from this door to this door, and it should be nice and smooth. If it's nice and smooth, then that's what you want to see. Now let's check this rear door to see if it's flush, and it is flush. So the very common problem that Tesla seems to have is this right here. Now look at that gap. You can almost fit your finger inside there. I can fit my finger in there. And this is way too big of a gap. It should be as tight as possible, preferably this size. That needs to be fixed. So I definitely would point that to my sales rep and have that looked at. Now let's take a look at the charge port door, and the charge port door is flush. Now let's take a look at the rear lights, and the left light is flush. Now let's check the right light, and the right light is flush. Now taking a look over here onto the right side, where we normally find is built better than the left side. See, looking at the right side gap, this is the type of gap that you want to see. Very thin, and that's how the left side should be, but unfortunately it's not. But what I like is that this rear passenger door, which is also a common problem, is flush. So there's nothing wrong with that door. Taking a look at these wheels and the door handle over here, and this door handle sits out. So don't mind these things. These are just protection during transportation, and this is a plastic that gets peeled off. Checking the top of the glass roof. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to give this Model Y a pass. It's a fail. Now let's move on to another Model Y. So, all right. Look what we have here. We have the black Model Y with the black interior. So if you plan on getting the black Model Y, I highly suggest that the first upgrade that you make is paint protection film. It's going to protect your paint for the longevity of the vehicle. And you should get paint protection film right after taking delivery. It's going to run you about $4,000 to protect the whole car. If you can't afford that, I strongly suggest that you at least paint protection the bumper and the hood. This is where rock chips are most likely to attract. So if you want to prevent rock chips, get the paint protection film. So let's taking a look at the left side. Look at those wheels. And making sure the fender matches the bumper and the bumper matches the hood. Looking at the gap over here, and so far so good. Now on to the right side. So I do like what I'm seeing so far. Taking a look at these. Now what we want to look for is that this gap is as thin as possible. And this one is definitely great. So there's a look at the interior. Now let's take a look to see if the door is flush, and it is flush. Now let's take a look over here to see if this panel is flush, and it is flush. So definitely off to a great start. Oh wow. So look at this gap. It's nice and tight, and this is what we want to see. It's unlike the blue. This one definitely is looking great. And this gap over here, I do like. So this black Model Y is definitely looking good from the left side to the right side. Great. Now on to the right side. Okay. The right side, I do prefer if this gap was a little bit thin, but it's okay. It's not as bad, but it's also not that good too. It's a little bit big in here, and I would prefer that they realign this gap over here on the right side, but it's not that bad. What I personally would do is I would still accept it, and I would let my sales rep know the problem, and then I would book a service appointment to have that corrected. But before leaving the lot, I'm definitely going to let the sales rep know that that issue needs to be taken care of. So I will be giving this a pass. I do like that the left side gap is very tight, and the right side gap needs a minor adjustment, which can be adjusted. All they have to do is to make a few adjustments by removing it, putting it back together, and making sure that it's lined. Now let's move on to our final Model Y for the evening. All right, so we have our final Model Y for the evening, and this happens to be the white with the standard wheels. And remember, these are the wheels under your hubcaps, and if you powder coat these wheels, they look phenomenal, and they'll save you some bucks if you were to choose to upgrade it to the other rims, because the other rims are $2,000. You can get the standard rim, save yourself $2,000, and powder coat them, and they look pretty much the same. So taking a look at the left side, taking a look at the frunk or the hood. making sure the gap is nice and even. Onto the bumper and onto the right side. Beautiful, and that's what we want to see. Now let's take a look at the driver's side door. Gap is nice and tight, and that's what we want to see. So there's a look at the interior, and let's do the door test to see if it's flush, and it is flush. Let's see this door to see if it's flush, and it tends to poke out a little. It's very minor, it's not that big. So we got ourselves another gap. So these Model Ys still continue to have issues, and the gap over here is also big, and it's just too big for my liking. It needs an adjustment, so I definitely would have to bring that up to my sales rep. Now, taking a look at the rear, left, right, and moving along to the right side, where we find that this light right here sits in a little bit, and it should be flush. So we definitely have ourselves an issue. Moving along to the right side. Right side, gap is nice and tight, and that's what we want to see. So this also needs to be, it's not that flush, so it is poking out a little bit, and the door handle is poking out a little bit. Let's check this door, this passenger door, and this passenger door pokes out a little bit far out. And yeah, so unfortunately this last Model Y gets a fail. So if you're thinking about ordering a Model Y, SX3, even a Cybertruck, if you're taking delivery, make sure to do yourself a quality check. It's very important that you check your vehicle before accepting it. I strongly urge you to walk around your vehicle at least 5 times. Do not leave the lot unless you're satisfied and your sales rep knows of any single problem that you have with your vehicle. They'll be more than happy to fix it. So all right, that's all I gotta say. So thank you and have a nice day.
Hey, would you like to win a Tesla Model 3? All you have to do is like, share, comment, and subscribe. And one lucky subscriber will win a Tesla Model 3.